Georgia workers getting sick or even dying from an invisible threat.
We was having a meeting and one of our employees just collapsed in the floor.
Then Better Call Harry gets results for a woman with a $1,500 water bill and a wife fighting to keep her husband behind bars after she says he tried to kill her.
The rage in his eyes was like a demon.
When systems fail, people pay the price. We trace the damage, expose the truth, and fight to fix it. This is Uncovered by Atlanta News First Investigates. Dozens of Georgia workers falling sick and even dying. A joint investigation by Atlanta News First and Grist examines lawsuits accusing two companies of knowingly exposing employees to toxic gas for years. Andy Parati uncovers their stories.
This one is muscle spasm.
Ira Montgomery shows dozens of prescriptions he takes every day to stay alive.
This is another blood pressure.
26 pills in all.
I forgot those from last one, I'm sorry. And this is anti-reject.
Medication needed following an organ transplant after doctors discovered cancer in his liver that nearly took his life.
15 pills in the morning, 16 pills at night, every day, 7 days a week.
So this is your life?
Yeah, my new life. I thank God for being here, but it's hard.
A joint investigation by Atlanta News First and Grist uncovered Ira is one of more than 50 employees at this Lithia Springs, Georgia warehouse who claimed in a lawsuit their former employer, ConMed, exposed them to a cancer-causing toxin for years. Many of them now suffering from severe illness. At least 4 have died.
So me and my wife, we sat down, and we looked at each other and said, baby, they are now pausing all of you guys.
Here's how it happened according to the lawsuit. It starts at this facility owned by Sterigenics in Cobb County, Georgia, which sterilizes millions of medical devices a week using a hazardous colorless gas called ethylene oxide, a toxin the Environmental Protection Agency says causes cancer and tumors. The sterilized products are then trucked 12 miles away, here to ConMed's 300,000 square foot warehouse, the size of 5 football fields. While there, boxes of medical equipment treated with ethylene oxide off gases inside the warehouse, allegedly exposing workers.
I was shocked.
Attorney Eric Hertz represents Ira and other warehouse workers in a pending lawsuit that claimed ConMed and Sterigenics conspired together to hide exposure from workers. The claims against ConMed were dismissed after Hertz said the plaintiffs reached an agreement. Sterigenics' lawsuit is still pending. In 2020, ConMed admitted to the Occupational Safety and Health Administration that employees were not informed about ethylene oxide, fining the company $7,800.
There's no reason not to tell the employees. There's no reason not to give them protection devices.
Handheld monitors used by Ira and other ConMed workers show ethylene oxide levels inside the warehouse so high, it set off alarms. Multiple readings more than 50 parts per million. The exposure limit set by OSHA is 1 parts per million.
This is 911. What's the address of the emergency?
It's ConMed Corporation. There's an employee. I'm not sure if he's having a seizure or a heart attack.
According to county dispatch records, EMS responded to the warehouse at least 22 times since 2016.
We just used to have people that come in there and just fall out. Just out.
Collapse?
Just collapse.
We was having a meeting and one of our employees just collapsed in the floor.
The warehouse is where the material that gets sterilized goes to. Nobody really thought about them having emissions.
Jim Bolin is the air branch chief for the Georgia Department of Environmental Protection. In 2019, the agency tested the air around another Georgia warehouse storing medical equipment. The findings were startling to this date. The warehouse emitting 5,700 pounds of ethylene oxide per year. That's about 9 times higher than the facility where the equipment is sterilized.
That's correct. The controlled facility had lower emissions and the warehouse had higher emissions.
Wow. I mean, that must have been a surprise to you.
Yes, it was a very big surprise.
After uncovering elevated levels of the toxic gas, the Georgia Environmental Protection Division now mandates these kinds of warehouse companies must obtain air quality permits, which include monthly testing and new equipment to remove the gas. While Georgia took action, we uncovered warehouses in other states that store products sterilized with ethylene oxide do not have similar regulations. Do you think this is something other states should be looking into as well?
I think they should be looking into it.
This one here is another anti-rejection.
An industry using a dangerous chemical, accused of exposing workers to an invisible threat for years.
I gave you 13 years of professional work. I trust you to make it safe for me to come to work. So why you can't just do it right?
Andy, you and I have talked about this project before. What's so interesting, you've done a lot of environmental reporting, and typically when we cover stories on these facilities, you think about the people living around the facility. We often hear from the neighbors, the residents, but we don't always get to hear from the workers. So you got to show these very personal stories like that of Ira.
Yeah, you really feel for Ira and the individuals that were originally part of the now dismissed lawsuit, up to 50 people, some of them now deceased.
Weeks after your reporting, I know there were some updates here, so what's next?
Yeah, so a few weeks after our original investigation aired, the U.S. Marshal Service served a search warrant to ConMed, and we confirmed through multiple sources that OSHA, the Occupational Health and Safety Administration, did launch an investigation. They closed out that investigation without taking any action, so we don't know exactly what they were looking for, what tipped them off.
You got to partner with Grist on this story. We don't always see that with our investigations. Tell us more about that partnership and what Grist has gone on to do.
So Grist is an online digital publication that focuses a lot on climate, the environment, and within a few months of our original reporting, their team identified 30 of these warehouses, 30 warehouses that enclose and keep and store products that have been treated by ethylene oxide. They had to file a lot of public records requests and a lot of on the ground reporting, simply trying to find them. And they travel all the way to Puerto Rico for this story as well. So a lot of facilities throughout the country, and not a lot of people know exactly what they're potentially living next to.
As always, great reporting. Thanks so much, Andy.
A massive water bill washed away for a Metro Atlanta woman. Ahead on Uncovered, Atlanta News First Investigates uncovers a history of negative reviews for her property management company.
A Douglasville woman says her water bill jumped from $100 to more than $1,000 out of nowhere. So she asked Atlanta News First consumer investigator Better Call Harry to help get her out of a jam.
At Nina Walker's house, yes, you really have to take off your shoes.
I have to say, this is the cleanest home I have ever been in.
Every room is spotless perfection. Seriously, you could eat off the floor.
But this is the kitchen.
This is the tour of the kitchen with the cleanest counters I've ever seen.
The point is, what landlord wouldn't want Nina and her husband Hakeem as tenants?
So this is my other favorite part of your place. See the little Hakeem and Nina on the... That is just so cute.
They pay rent on time and love the house, except for the toilets. Nina says 2 toilets were silently leaking. The next bill was a shocker. The water jumped from the usual $50 to $436, and the sewer charge jumped to $390.
So you get this bill, and were you on it? Like, did you call them immediately?
Yes. Soon as I retrieved the bill from my email, I called this company called Conservice. They are the ones responsible for the utility bills.
The next bill added nearly $700.
If you add those two bills up, it's close to $1,500.
How much?
It will be close to $1,500.
Let me ask that again. How much?
Yes, close to $1,500. There's some piece under here.
Nina says for 2 months, she went back and forth with Mine Property Management, the billing company, and even with the county water department, but couldn't get a clear answer. She agreed to pay $800, but started getting alerts to pay the balance.
So on top of your monthly rent, they want you to pay $1,500 with the idea that you'll get that back?
In a credit, not even a refund, a credit.
Atlanta News First Investigates contacted Mine 4 times and got crickets. We've gotten complaints from other tenants in Atlanta. And then we checked with the Better Business Bureau. They logged 300 complaints over the last 3 years.
I can't say that they're a bad company. Because this is the only issue that we have. It's just people in places that can do something, that won't do something.
By the way, after maintenance fixed 2 toilets, the third one started leaking in the master. But it must have been something we said, because a few days after contacting Mine, a representative called and said the Walkers will not be responsible for that $1,500 bill. The perfect response for the perfect tenant.
I'm willing to bet that your refrigerator is also organized if I were to open it. Am I correct? Can I just,
All right, Harry, so after your reporting, she's still got another bill. What does Mine Water have to say about this? I know you've tried reaching out to them.
You know what? Whenever we do an investigation, especially if it's a big company, usually they have a marketing department or a media department. Mine did, and we emailed them repeatedly. And then we found out they have a parent company or a sister company. It's 2 companies that they work together. Anyway, so we contacted them as well. And then when we didn't get a response from them, we actually reached out to the person who reached out to our homeowner to say, hey, you won't be responsible. And I'm like, can you please confirm that she's not responsible for this bill? And as far as we know, she's not. But again, she was still getting warnings in a text. And it's just kind of crazy because you've got the billing company, the property management company, you've got the water department. So you've got 3 different services that you're dealing with to try and get something resolved. And it's so simple. And fortunately, we think pretty sure that it's taken care of.
All right, so there's been some other complaints on this matter. Instinctually, some people may think to withhold their rent if they're dealing with a similar situation. You advise against that.
We have talked to Atlanta Legal Aid, and we've talked to their experts, and they have said time and time again, and I can say this confidently, that you never withhold the rent, because that leads to an eviction. And once they file, even if you get out of it, it's on your record and that is shared. So you don't want it to go there.
All right, great work, Harry. Thank you so much. Atlanta News First Investigates cares about your community and the issues impacting your neighborhood. Scan the code on your screen to share a story you think we should investigate. If it's one we can help you with, we'll reach out to you. She says she begged for help before the night she nearly lost her life.
Was there gas in here?
He wiped me down with gasoline.
Ahead on Uncovered, one woman's fight to keep her attacker behind bars. A woman attacked by her estranged husband weeks after telling law enforcement he was threatening to kill her. Stunning body camera footage is now shining a light on the system she believes is broken. Investigator Meredith Anderson has this story. But first, a warning. What you're about to see involves depictions of domestic violence.
This whole roller coaster has been a secret blessing. Because of Frank attacking me and trying to kill me, my daughter now is free.
Madeline is also free. Her family is now free. But she worries about a time when Frank Ward could be.
Other women are at risk. Our community is at risk if Frank Ward is free.
Our cameras, the only ones rolling when he was sentenced to 2 decades behind bars. Madeline asked the judge to put him away for life.
What else did they need? My dead body? What else did they need to grant more than 20 years?
Even though Madeline says she relives this night just about every time she closes her eyes, parts of it are still fuzzy, like this gunshot.
Rose!
This is actual body cam from that night.
Here, kick that. Get on the ground! Now! I need both of your hands! Right now! Ma'am, get up. Get up. Let's set the gun down. Set the gun down.
Oh my God!
Set it down.
Oh, Jesus!
Get on your stomach. Both of your hands on the ground.
That wasn't the only time Frank pulled the trigger that night.
Did he fire it at you?
He did. I think it was like a warning shot.
That-
Make me reconcile.
There's a bullet hole in the headboard.
Is there gas in here?
He wiped me down with gasoline.
Madeline had been asleep. She woke up to footsteps in her house.
I yelled out, "Who goes there?" And he said, "It's me, big. Today is the day. I told you were gonna die. Today is the day."
He was making good on a promise, a threat she had reported to the Richmond County Sheriff's Office just weeks before.
He threatened me a couple times. I filed a police report.
Did you get a TPO?
No, because they told me I had to spend a night in a safe homes, and I didn't feel like I needed to spend a night in safe homes.
Madeline bought her own home, so she wasn't even living with Frank.
I think other protocols should be put in place to expedite protection orders.
Instead, Madeline's quick thinking saved her own life. As he was wiping her down with gas, he saw her phone on the nightstand.
And he said, "Open your phone, let me see what you've really been doing."
She quickly dialed 911 and started begging and fighting for her life.
And then that's when I heard a knock on the door.
Those brave deputies didn't just rescue Madeline that night.
Now, we have an infant baby.
Where is the baby?
I don't know. He said he was keeping the baby tonight.
My motherly instincts kicked in. I felt like I was gonna throw up.
I need the window down. I gotta find something out immediately. There's a child involved in this and we don't know where it is. Right, and he's at a house with the babysitter.
I said, "There's no way she's with a babysitter at 3 o'clock. At this time, nobody has ever kept my baby with his family."
Where's the kid?
At my house. I told him to tell him. At my house.
There's 2 spent shots.
Law enforcement raced to Frank's house in North Augusta.
I was thinking she wasn't alive, I will be honest. So I was literally nauseous waiting, and when the cop came out, he said, "All is clear, you can go get your baby."
Officers say they found the baby unharmed in the middle of his king-sized bed. The same night Madeline was attacked, she was on the phone with her daughter at college.
I feel like something is gonna happen. My life insurance stuff is in a safe. I went through everything that I want her to do.
You told her that?
I did. I said, "I need for you to be strong." She said, "Mom, if you're scared, just don't stay." I said, "I'm not gonna leave my home. I did nothing. I'm not leaving my home. I will be right here." We watched TV until I fell asleep. The phone was on my chest.
Hours later, Frank tried to kill her. Frank tried just about every delay tactic he could, dragging this case out over the past 3 years. During that time, Madeline's only gotten stronger. And while she's not happy with his 20-year sentence, she thinks our cameras in the courtroom made a difference.
Do you feel that had the light not been shining on this case the whole time, things might have been even less?
Yes, I do. Had the news, had you guys not been there, I believe it would have been less. I believe it would have.
Now she's focusing on making a difference and hopes her darkest hour can be a source of light.
And for any woman that is watching and second guessing their value in life, God has a plan bigger than you can think of, bigger than you can imagine.
The Georgia Parole Board confirms Frank is eligible for parole in 2028. Madeline says she vows to keep fighting to keep him behind bars. You can listen to all of our extended conversations on these stories right now on our podcast, Behind the Investigation. Just search Atlanta News First on your favorite podcast platform. You're watching Uncovered by Atlanta News First Investigates, a weekly hour-long investigative show with new episodes launching every Sunday at 7.